What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay, back in full force, all healed up here from the little bit of an illness. I think he's still playing hurt tonight. We got Jacob in Wisconsin as well here to talk some Packers. Hopefully everybody had an awesome Sunday. It was beautiful here. Laid back Sunday, man. Got all the chores done. Got the dogs fed. Got the cows milked, the chickens. What do you do with chickens? Just wring their neck, I guess, right? Well, Peter just blocked us, didn't they?
Yeah.
You're gonna get.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Or a vet. All right. So we are live on YouTube, X, and probably only on Rumble very soon after that comment, but that's the way it goes. Gents, how was your day?
I mean, when you think about it, a vet is smarter than a doctor because he's got to work on lizards, he's got to work on snakes, he's got to work on bears. You know, they're all different, Clayton.
They are different. You're right. Very different. Very different.
Yeah.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
That's right, man. You get that bird flu going around. Wash your hands, wash your butt. Tim, how we doing, big dog?
I'm feeling good. I got one functioning nostril now, so I'm ready to talk some ball. Let's go.
There you go, man.
Have you been at the Oval Office, Tim?
No, I didn't see you there, so you know, I mean, I wasn't there.
Let's go to the chat here. Everybody responding to the poll question we put up. Everybody make sure you get your vote in, okay? The question was, which defensive tackle would you prefer the Packers draft with the 23rd pick? We're not saying you have, we're not saying the Packers are going to take a defensive tackle at 23. We're saying if you had to, who would that be? The choices: Kenneth Grant, Derek Harmon, Tyleik Williams, or Walter Nolan. We've got that also in the Patreon group. We've got it on Twitter as well. So the chat is now responding to this. And Chris, the casual in, says Kenneth Grant. I think he'll be gone by 23, but that's not the question. There you go. So I would agree with Kenneth Grant. I think you boys probably would too. Brian Ellis says Grant, Nolan, Harmon, Williams would be my order. Got it. The aggressiver UFO. I feel Derek Harmon is pro ready. Grant, Nolan, and Williams has to learn. Derek Harmon has the most pressures in college football as a D lineman, so that's his choice right there. He said Grant didn't test, so we have to wait for that. College Pro Day, Derek Harmon tested out of the waters, and he's a Packers fit. There you go. So
That
seems like everybody's
profile name right there, aggressive or UFO. I like that.
Here's the guy.
Evidently, that's a new viewer, man. So that's cool. Welcome to the family here, man. Welcome to the family. PJB, we had a very good defense last year. Stop obsessing over the sack numbers. Could not agree more. We've seen some of that in the comments there. We've talked about it. Got hold to the wrong stuff. Got hold to the wrong stats. We talked about that all year long, obviously. Guys, what would your pick be here? I think it goes without saying, mine, according to our board, Kenneth Grant. That would be my pick. But does anybody differ in a sense of who you would rather take there at 23 at defensive line? Do you have a preference over Kenneth Grant? If you couldn't choose Kenneth Grant, who would your next pick be?
Give me Derek Harmon.
Derek Harmon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of tied between Harmon and Nolan, but I'd probably lead a little bit towards Derek Harmon. But I pick Kenneth Grant as well. Like if we're going D tackle and he's on the board at 23, that's my pick.
Mm-hmm. Got it. King Tron with the super chat. Give me Harmon. Have a good night, boys. 1 of 10. Hey.
I know what that means. I haven't been gone that long.
Son of a bee.
That's it. It's gonna get hectic here if I'm forced to do a mock draft. As for whatever reason, this is Redneckville, USA. We've got fireworks going off out here, and I'm talking about cannon fireworks. We're not talking about little fireworks. The dogs are looking at me like, bro, you hearing this? You hearing this right now? So, Nitschke, I wish I could show you guys him right now. He is literally underneath my feet going.
Is that your bulldog, Clay?
I don't have a bulldog. Nitschke is the little street rat. He's the one that, funny story. Facebook post came across the timeline one day and said, hey, if anybody wants this dog, they found it down here in Johnson City. Looks like it's pretty malnourished. I'm like, heck, I'll take him. So I immediately messaged Mandy and was like, hey, man, there's this dog that's on Facebook. Nobody wants him, and the post's been up for hours. Mandy immediately went to Facebook and seen that I was the first person to comment. Like, literally, it was 3 minutes after it's posted, like, give me that little bastard right there. I want him. So we named him Raymond Nitschke, and he's shaking like a leaf right now, buddy. Hey, maybe we didn't name him right. Nitschke wouldn't be shaking over fireworks, right? Like, come on. Anyway, so we will do a mock draft if we hit 10, but we got to go rapid fire if it happens. So, King Tron, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. PJB, we had a very good defense last year. We said that one already. So, Turtles, that was dope. McKinney quote tweeted Clay. Oh, yeah, earlier today. Yeah, I just tweeted a video of Xavier McKinney after his interception in Tennessee, that game we were at, where he was celebrating in the end zone with his teammates. And it's pretty cool. He quote tweeted it. All I said was, book it. McKinney's going to get a ring while he's in Green Bay. And it's funny, he put the emoji of the, the notepad with the pencil, right? So, yeah, he seems like a great dude, man. He interacted with fans all year long and just seems like one of those. I can't believe he's only got like 60,000 followers or 80,000 followers. It's something crazy. So everybody make sure you go follow X on X. There you go.
It's Adam, weird. Somehow though, that was controversial that he retweeted you. You know what I mean? Because you could always find some little a-hole that's going to ruin like the best day of the world. He's going to be like, somehow that was controversial. Anyways.
Yeah, it was funny watching people kind of come to the rescue there. And, it is what it is. People, all you can do is block people and move on. And if they want to be a-holes, they're going to be a-holes. But I thought it was – anyway, we'll just move on. You're right, Jacob. It's
King Tron says 2 of 10 for the street rat and the Aztec.
I like it. That sounds like a band, Street Rat and Aztec.
Let's go.
I like it, yeah.
All right.
Thank you, King Tron. Appreciate you, brother. King Tron's like, don't make me spend $20 to get a mock draft tonight.
Yes.
Ain't no problem.
All right, Adam,
that ain't no problem.
Well,
Adam Block said pressure pick over a sack. Could not agree more. Now, listen, if you had to pick between a pressure and a sack, I want the sack. Don't get me wrong. But the reality is most of the time you have guys in the league that have a ton of pressures and maybe not as many sacks, and you got a guy that maybe has a ton of sacks and not as many pressures. The point of that comment, what Adam's saying here, and I agree wholeheartedly, is the goal is to affect the quarterback as often as possible, right? That's when good things will happen for your defense. So completely on board with that, Adam. I heard that a long time ago by Pat Kerwin and Tim Ryan. They said pressure pick, coverage sack. And it was just like, hark, that makes a lot of sense. And sure enough, you see an interception most of the time, it's because they have pressure in their face. You see a sack, it's because the coverage is really good. The goal, obviously, ultimately is to get both of those synced up. And that's where you got to be sound in your pass rush integrity. You can't just pin your ears back and run crazy like people want you to. You gotta have a plan in mind, and you got to take away throwing lanes, and you got to know where to roll the coverage in terms of tendencies for that specific opponent, that specific week, all those things. So
you can get by with either or one or the other. You can win ball games, but when the two go hand in hand, man, you're unstoppable. That's what everyone's trying to get to for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Judy says sacks are small data sets. There you go. B Timmy 10. I think I'm saying that right. B Tom 10. Anyway, X replied to your tweet. That means they always see it. They do. And listen, in this regard, it was a positive comment, right? A positive tweet. They also see the negative stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's why I do not understand when people want to go to Twitter and bash players. It's like, man, can we be real for a minute? I'm a big Packer fan, obviously.
Amen. That was Lincoln.
No, that was Biggie. That was.
Oh, that was Biggie.
He said somebody got a gun outside, but you not hearing this? That's what he just said. So where was I at? God, that dog is hilarious. They see the negative too. I don't understand why people want to be negative and bash players. Like, if we're being 100% honest, 100% transparent, do you think Green Bay is this like big, glorious place where people want to go play? Like, if you're choosing between two teams and they're both contenders and they both got a good coach and they both got a good franchise quarterback and one's in Miami, Florida, one's in Green Bay, Wisconsin, most players are going to pick Florida. I would pick Green Bay because I just absolutely love the place. But they're going to pick Florida. They're going to pick the warmer climate. They're going to pick, the warmer climate. So why put ourselves at a disadvantage as a fan base, bashing players so they can look up and go, man, these Packer fans are asses. Like,
Right.
why would you do that to your team and hurt? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and most people would respond to that with, well, they're not watching anyway. Yes, they are, both good and bad. They're watching. So
While you were chatting there, we had number 3, and now we got number 4.
King Tron,
Tron's
stop.
just saying, man.
Tron's gonna foot the bill all by himself for sure.
He will. Tron, stop super chatting, man. I will do a mock draft tonight for you, brother. We appreciate you. You want one that bad, and you're always donating to the show. We appreciate it. We'll do it. We'll squeak one in here at the end for sure. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate it. Save your money though, man. Prince in the chat says 10 away from 4K. Let's go. All right, there we go. So we're closing in on 4,000. I'll tell you, man, we've been getting good reviews here lately. It seems like the algorithm is cranking before I made the PETA joke. So,
Oh, shoot. Look at Boz up in here.
Boz said, everybody put your money back in your pocket. We're going to mock it up. Here's a $20 super chat.
Wow,
So, yeah,
look
it's
at
done
that.
now. Everyone
Wow,
save your money.
man, right there.
Yeah,
Here's the guy.
appreciate it, buddy. It's funny, too. We didn't even set a goal. So we've created a trend here. But, yeah, so anything else on that in terms of the vote there? And I'll give you guys a result up to this point. Anything else you want to add to that defensive tackle talk? Other than I will say this, like we talked about earlier this morning, Jacob, you know, it kind of feels like you might want to take 2 swings, right? To just try to double up and ensure that you get a good defensive tackle. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, honestly, I love it. I mean, we looked at what Goody's done in the past when we absolutely had a position of need. He dive bombed that thing. You get 3 wide receivers, get like 3 line. You know what it is? I would love if he went in there and he's like, you know what, we're gonna find our 3 tech. Whether it be, you know, I would love it if they went, you know, Nolan or God, if Grant is still there, obviously do that. If you can find a guy that's like you know, like Derek or something like that. But even in the later rounds, I mean, we talked about it. Thor Griffith, certain types of people. You don't like Thor, buddy? What's going on there? I'd say like there are people. Who's the other guy? CJ West. You know, there's certain guys that if we can make it throughout this this draft, that it just seems like it's a great idea, and that's why I do think that Goody it's not above him to trade back, even though the draft is in Green Bay. It might upset a lot of people there opening night for sure if he decides to trade back out of that first round. But I mean, I would almost love it if he did it, you know, because that means that we've got a stab at some other people down the line there. What do you think?
Maybe
Ted?
he sticks and pick, you know, in that first round. Maybe we grab a Walter Nolan. You
Yeah.
know, he's still on the board, and then you take Jaden Higgins in the second.
Hey.
And you take Deion Walker in the third. There's your double dip at defensive tackle. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you
I'm
get to
dreaming
listen
out loud? My bad.
Did you get to listen to the morning episode, Tim?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Did you see where they had Deion Walker?
Yeah, he's it's kind of
Gronk.
frowning a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Tim wrote the article, and we're like, he's
That's
not
what we
here
said.
now.
Well, we know Gronk's working for Tim's working for Elon now. He's over there just answering questions on Gronk, I guess. So there you go. King Tron with another super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, let me get to the point then, boys. Please and thank you very much. I would love an attempt to get a top corner first round. So listen, I think we should go corner first round for Tron. Is everybody on board with that? We good with that?
Let's do it.
Don't
Yeah.
let me forget, because you know me, I will forget.
Here's the guy.
And listen, I apologize for the dogs barking, guys. They're usually calm, but Biggie's ready to rage war on these fireworks outside. He's trying to get outside. He's like, well, just calm down, chill out. One's about to have a heart attack, and the other wants to go out there and fight him.
Thick.
He is thick, actually. He's lost a little weight since my brother passed away, and he moved in with us. He learned real quick, no more rotisserie chickens for dinner up here at the Bailey house. You know what I mean? We're getting on a diet, but we're all trying to lose weight here. So, again, Tron, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. All right, let's see here. Andy Monday says, anybody think Goody will trade any 2026 picks to get more picks this year? That's an interesting concept.
I'm
Do
a
you
guy.
really think? That's interesting.
Maybe a 2026 pick and a player to move up this year. You never know.
Oh, boy, Tim, what are you trying to say?
A player who shall remain nameless.
I was gonna say.
I did a mock draft once this offseason where I traded Jair and the 23rd pick and something else to get up to number 5 and take Mason Graham.
Ooh.
And I'm telling you, that draft fell into place very nice. I was like, holy cow. Now, I would love to have Ja on the roster, obviously, but we will treat the draft tonight as if Ja's not on the roster. So we're kind of forced to take a corner in the first for Tron there. But I think there's a chance, Andy. I mean, you guys know I'm boring like this. I always run it by the precedent standard. Goody's never done that, right? Has he ever traded a future pick to move up in the current draft? I can't remember.
I can't remember anything like that.
Yeah, me neither. I could be overlooking it. Tim, do you remember any times that may have happened?
No.
I can't really think of it. I mean, they traded up to get Jordan that year, Jordan Love, but they traded a pick that current year, right?
Year, right? Yeah.
So,
Hey, just so you guys know, the doctor in the chat says rotisserie chicken is fine. It's a health food. Okay, it's basically one of the 5 food groups.
yeah. How about 3 of them? How about 3 of them? Because that's how my brother wrote.
Back to back.
Bro, that dog. It was funny too when he passed away. That wasn't funny, obviously, but I got a sick sense of humor. If you guys, that's just how I roll. And he rolled the same way, and I'm going to keep this tradition alive. But when I went down and was taking care of his property and everything back in the summer after he passed, the neighbor came over and was like, "Hey, I heard about your brother. Everything okay? You know, you guys need anything?" He said, "Man, every time my dog got off the leash over here, I knew exactly where to go. He'd go straight to my brother's front door because he said he would feed him chicken every time. It's like he's like, how many rotisserie chickens did he have in that house? Like because my brother was a diabetic, he had to eat healthy, and like the doc said in the chat, rotisserie chicken actually fairly healthy if you stay away from the fattier part of it, the skin, all that stuff. So, but yeah, he said, man, I couldn't get my dog to eat his regular dog food because your brother, every time he got off the leash, he'd run straight over and your brother would be feeding him chicken. So he's a big dog guy, though. He donated to local animal shelter, all that good stuff. So he was a big pet person for sure. AFAM, Josh Myers got paid. Did he, AFAM? 1 year, what was it? 1 year, $3 million? Is that what it was? So I would like to have had him for $3 million. I don't know about you guys.
I really would have too. Yeah.
But that's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. King Tron, thanks, boys. I look forward to hearing it on the pod. Have a great night. You all have a good one. Appreciate you, Tron, for always supporting the channel, man. All right, so the results are in. We've got 54% on YouTube said Kenneth Grant, 28% said Derek Harmon, 10% said Walter Nolan, and 8% said Tyleik Williams. Okay, so that is the results on YouTube. In the Patreon group, as I hit refresh here, it was 67% Kenneth Grant, 22% Walter Nolan, 11% Derek Harmon, and 0% went to Tyleik Williams. And then on X, let me refresh that. On X, it's 40% Kenneth Grant, 31% Derek Harmon, 18% Walter Nolan, and 9% Tyleik Williams. It's interesting that 9% chose Tyleik Williams over Kenneth Grant. You know, that's pretty wild.
What do you think about that's one of those guys. I don't know why I just have not even processed in my register like that he could even be available, or two that I'd even want him. Is that weird? Do you guys have certain players where you just like you don't even think that it's a possibility that they'd fall? So you haven't really, you know what I mean?
I think if anyone could fall, it's Tyleik Williams.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking, but it's for some reason I just haven't given him
much thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got him in the 39 spot. That's probably why, Jacob, is because he's kind of out of that 23 slot, and he's probably gone by the time you get back to 54, usually. You know, that's where we got him. And the reason we've got him there, Daniel Jeremiah did not have him in his initial top 50. Kyle Krabs had him at 47. Dane Brugler had him at 33. He peaked with his PFF grade this year, 56th in defensive tackles. So
and he's a bona fide 3-tech, right? Like just looking at the numbers, he played a lot of 3-tech.
The only person, to the best of my knowledge, that are in the upper echelon of defensive tackles in this draft that played a consistent 1-tech was Kenneth Grant. But Kenneth Grant played more 3-tech than he did 1. So it's just he had a few more percentage of snaps at 1-tech than everybody else for the most part, you know. So
Williams is at 400 in the B gap the last 2 years, 152 snaps in 2022 in the B gap.
Okay. Mr. Andy Monday brings up a great point here. He says the only trade ups that Goody has done in the first are for Jordan, obviously Jordan Love in 2020, a 4th to Miami, and for 2019 for Savage from 30th to 21st. Put that
Plus
name in
two.
my mouth right there. First rounders.
Did he really? That's crazy. I don't remember that. So he actually traded up for Savage.
God,
Which-
that
30th to
tough.
21st and 2 4th rounders.
That's
Yikes.
tough. I'm not gonna lie. That one's tough. That was
yeah,
tough.
you would spell that Daym. Damn. That's not a good look at all. Not a good look. Thank you for that info, Andy. Appreciate you, man. All right, so we get the poll question covered there. In the Patreon group, we had a couple of comments / questions. Moist Butter, Jacob's favorite listener, said, if they draft more than one receiver this year, who is the odd man out? I would hate to see Melton or Heath go, but they can only keep so many. That's a great question. Let's pull up the depth chart here real quick. And we got this saved now if you guys ever need it. So at wide receiver as it sits right now, you've got Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, which he's going to be on IR, so we won't count him right now. Dontavion Wicks, Bo Melton, Malik Heath. Those are your top 5, I think we would all agree, right? Above Julian Hicks, Cornelius Johnson, and Tulu Griffin. Still trying to
Ledietrich Griffin.
Is that really his name?
Yes, it is.
There you go. Does
So
his mama
Tulu's
know
a
that?
nickname?
I guess so. So what he's saying here is your 5 have already established, like, if you had to cut one of those to keep, say, a Jaden Higgins, or let's say a Matthew Golden falls perfectly in your, you know what I mean? One of those guys.
Griffin or Johnson?
So which one would you cut? Would you cut Bo Melton or Malik Heath? I think I would lean towards carrying 6, but that can get a little interesting. You know what I mean? Where you're tying up an extra roster spot carrying 6 as opposed to they've carried 6 many times in the past, though, if I remember correctly. But let's play along here with the comment at hand, right? And who was it that asked that again? Oh, it was Moist Butter, Jacob's favorite person. So I'm going to say that as many times as I can because I see Jacob shake his head every time. So who would you cut, Bo Melton or Malik Heath, guys? Which one would you – that's essentially the question becomes, who would you rather have, Bo Melton or Malik Heath on your team?
Can I say something that's probably going to stir up a lot of nonsense?
Jacob, that would be so surprising coming.
It's weird. Wouldn't it be weird?
He was the best guy around.
If I am forced to be in this situation, I would trade Romeo Dobbs. I'm sorry. I would. I'd trade Romeo Dobbs. I'd open up a spot. I love Bo Melton. I love Malik. I love Malik Heath. I can't even see a scenario where I don't want that guy on the team. But also Julian Hicks. He's a guy, man. He's a guy. Here's a guy. He just really does seem like he deserves to be on this team. And you know what?
So who are you trading Rome for?
Who would I trade Rome for? I would trade him for a 4th or 5th round pick.
Boo.
I'm just saying, man.
Okay, so Jacob, again, and listen, I'll say this. I think that there's many Packer fans that would agree with you on that. I personally don't agree with you, but I'm probably in the minority with the whole I'd rather keep Rome for the whole year. Let's say you have to choose between
I just caught the ball.
You have to choose between Bo Melton and Malik Heath. Who would it be, man? You got to choose between those 2.
Lord. I think I'd Lord. I think I'd keep Malik if I had to.
Okay. And I don't think that's like, I think it's a tough decision. I really do. Bo Melton has got blazing speed. There's no 2 ways about it, right? He's had some experience playing F. We've seen that in mop-up times. So you could tell that Matt LaFleur wants to use him on those jet sweeps and things like that. But Malik Heath, I think, has probably the better hands, and he's the better blocker. Not that Bo isn't willing to block, but Malik Heath is a goon. I can understand that. Now, based on our current situation with Christian Watson being out till November, I personally would choose Bo Melton over Malik Heath.
As a burner, take the top off the defense.
Right. I feel like he's kind of the only one other than Jaden Reed that can do that, Tim, what do you think, man, if you had to pick between the 2? Because these are 2 of your favorite players, I know.
That's what I'm saying. You're making my brain hurt more than
the
cold
bro.
medicine is right
Sophie's choice. You got to pick one.
I'm rolling with you, Jacob. I'm keeping the dog. I'm keeping Malik Heath.
Let's go.
I think, to Clayton's point, I think Malik is better at the contested catch. He's got solid hands. And he's not, he's not as fast as Bo, but by no means is Malik Heath slow. So it's not like it's a matter of we're losing that much speed.
He can block.
Yeah, and exactly, he'll block a guy to a water cooler. So and plus Malik is one of them dudes that he's always looking for work. Even if he's not supposed to block, if he busts a route or play breaks down, he's going to go look for somebody to chip or something. I just like the way he plays the game, and that's not a knock on Bo at all because I love Bo's game as well. And I agree with Clayton's point that if you're going to be down Scoot until the better part of November, possibly into early December, then you've got to look for a way to make up, for that field stretching ability. And if you're looking at guys that are in the room, Bo would be the first one that comes to mind if you're not talking about, Jaden Reed. So,
Right.
But that being said, if you're going to make me pick one of the two, I've been fighting for Malik Heath for the better part of 2.5 years. So I'm gonna stick with my dog for sure.
There you go. Fred McFarley, Malik Heath, 4.64 40 time, Bo Melton 4.3. It's so wild that Bo Melton ran a 4.34, man. Here's the other thing that might come into play. It's kind of a way of cheating to answer this question. Are either of those guys eligible for the practice squad if they weren't a veteran? You know what I mean? Like what I mean there is I believe they're keeping the practice squad extended, meaning I think you can have 10 players and then 6 veterans or whatever the rule. It's kind of a wonky rule. But with that being said, if one of those players qualifies for one of those young spots as opposed to just a veteran practice squad guy, maybe you go in the opposite direction so you can kind of keep both. That's cheating the question a little bit, but yeah, I think it's a good question for sure. King Tron with the super chat. Any updates on injuries from the end of last season? To the best of my knowledge, the only injury that's going to linger into next year is Christian Watson. Now, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Is there anyone else you can think of? Like Quay had the ankle at the end, right?
Jair, that's
Jair, right? To the best of my knowledge, everybody is on track to be ready for camp other than Christian Watson. Does that sound right to you guys?
I think that's fair to say. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
All right. Appreciate you, Tron. Thank you for the super chat, man. All right. Let's move along here to a couple other things. Oh, we had another Patreon question too. Or Chris N just commented on it and said Heath is better than Melton in my opinion. So Chris N definitely agrees with you guys on that front. He would go Malik Heath as well. So I think from a pass catcher standpoint and catch radius and blocking, it's Malik Heath. If they had the same 40 time, I would choose Malik Heath, right? But like someone said earlier in the chat too, boys, you lose Bo Melton, you lose the cheese curd drop.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
Tim, you're so damn fast. I love it, dude.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that would break my heart if we couldn't use that drop anymore. I'm just telling you. If you could have seen him light up when we were in Tennessee and Emilio, when they were going to get on the bus and Emilio went, cheese curds make my stomach hurt, but I eat them though. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. So, all right. Thanks to everybody in the Patreon group. Appreciate y'all supporting the show. Let's go to X now. We are going to do a mock draft when we get ready to wrap up. So
we're at 6 of 10. Just so the
stop this.
Who in the hell is Mel Kiper anyway?
Boz paid everybody's light bill for the month. We're good, all right. We're gonna do a mock. Deadfish says Bo Melton has been practicing with his dad and brother in the offseason. Should be in great shape to start camp. That's good to hear, man. That family, you can tell they love football. There's no two ways about it.
And that's a great point by Deadfish too, because man, if Bo shows up to camp like ready to roll and is hyper competitive, and you know how camp is, right? You get guys that are. Some guys show up ready. Some guys show up not ready at all. Some guys are somewhere in between. Right. If Bo takes that step and has his game face on from day one, he's going to pick up that bottom half of that receiver room, man. It's gonna be real interesting to watch.
Yeah, Dave in the chat, you don't want to lose your other speed option with Watson out already. That's how I'm looking at it too, Dave. To be honest with you, but I think we're in the minority, my man. Drew D said he couldn't find any other trades with future picks. By the way, thank you so much, Drew, for double checking that, man. And Ben Holden says Bo knows. So there you go. If you guys remember that commercial.
Yes, sir.
Daniel Jeremiah put a tweet out earlier, and I thought this was fascinating. It's so simple, but it's so true this time of year. He said, mock drafts are always an exercise in futility. But this year, it's more challenging than ever before. It's going to make the real draft a fun watch because we don't have any idea how these teams are going to stack so many similar players. He talked about before, early in the process, when he did his first top 50, I remember he put a tweet out and said, man, this is tough. All the players between 20 and 60 are the same. Like they're pretty much graded out the same. That would suggest if you're outside of the top 20, trade back. Now, isn't it funny? We were team trade back. The closer we get to the draft, we stop talking about it because we get excited about, well, this player might be available. That player might be available, right? But it sounds like Daniel Jeremiah, this tweet just kind of solidifies or confirms what his initial thought was looking at the draft. Is like, man, this is one of those drafts that's going to be fun. We don't know exactly how the teams are going to see these guys stacking up. What it essentially means, like Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks always talk about, the cluster busters, going to be a whole lot of cluster busters in this draft. So any thoughts on that? It kind of feels like that's how this draft is unfolding.
Yeah, I think that's fair. There are, like you said, there's just pockets of players, especially at like the D line, certain guys at wide receiver. It's such a weird draft too with the quarterback position, because usually like you understand that like these guys are gone in the first 3 picks, and it's like we don't know. Like Tennessee, who in my opinion glaringly needs a quarterback, could not take a quarterback. And if that's the truth, like, do you see Shador as one of those guys? You know, I just it's a weird draft because, and honestly, I think it's a great draft because in drafts past, you could almost, like I said, you could almost figure out like, hey, the top 5 are at least going this way. I don't think that anybody could tell you their top 5 with, if you bet like $100,000, you know what I mean? Like you bet your house, you bet your deed. I don't think anybody would do it on the first top 5 if you could get it. Whereas in drafts past, you'd be like, I know that the top 3 are going this way or that way. What do you think, Tim? Am I crazy or what?
No, I fully understand what you're saying, because I look at the top 10. And when I say top 10, like the collective, like our board, the, big board, PFF's board, the top 10 to 15, it'd be really hard to like say with any confidence who you think the top 5 picks are going to be, with any degree of certainty. Like, are we prepared? Like, what if Travis Hunter falls? What if he falls out of the top 5? Abdul Carter, we talk about Ashton Genty. We talk about Mason Graham.
What about Ted? What if Ted falls?
Yeah, T-Mac. What if T-Mac falls? And all of a sudden everybody's board is jacked up after the, second or third pick, So I think it's a great point, Jacob. I think it speaks to the amount of talent in this year's draft, and, especially at the, the specific position groups, and, looking at who those, top 10 or 20 picks, what their positions of need are. You talk about best available or how is the board going to fall. I think this is one of the tougher drafts to really kind of predict those top 5 picks, at least in any particular order,
It's going to make it so much more enjoyable too, man. Like this is going to be an absolute blast. We're going to be there ground zero. We'll be doing a draft show and hanging out at the draft and going back and doing the draft show. It's just going to be, again, man, making the decision to go up for this was like, I remember, I would never forget it. And I've said this probably 100 times on this show, but it kind of really sank in with me when Mandy, I was like, hey, should we go up or should we just kind of hang out here? I can do a better quality show here than up there. And she said, Clayton, you're not going to get to see the draft in Green Bay again. Yeah, like it hit me. I'm like, man, there's 32 other locations that unless they skip 1 or 2, yeah, I'm going to be in my 70s the next time the draft is in Green Bay, probably. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So if you're on the fence about going or not going, even if you go up for a day, you know what I mean? Like, Go up there and experience it, Drive up, sleep in the car, drive back, and you know what I mean? Hey, we were at the draft. It's going to be special. I really believe that, man. I do. So since we were talking wide receivers, let's stay on this topic. And I asked Grok, who are the best wide receivers in this year's draft? I thought this was really interesting. So let's see what Grok had to say. Here's a ranking of the top incoming wide receivers for the 2025 NFL Draft based on their performances, scouting evaluations, and potentials as of March 16, 2025. Note that this list focuses solely on players projected to play wide receiver in the NFL, with Travis Hunter included due to his offensive upside, though his final position remains uncertain. Rankings reflect a blend of collegiate production, athletic traits, and projected draft stock. Listen, I know I'm a boomer. I'm the get off my lawn guy. But I'm still just fascinated by the fact that I typed that in, and 3 seconds later it spit all this out, and it gave a detailed description of Travis Hunter's situation right off the top. Pretty wild.
Get ready to go.
That's right. With that being said, number 1 on their list is Tet McMillan. Says why he's top. McMillan is the consensus wide receiver 1 for many scouts due to his rare combination of size, 6'5", 212 pounds, smooth route running, and exceptional hands. He led the FBS in receiving yards, 2,721, and first downs, 112 over the past 2 seasons, showcasing his ability to dominate as a true X receiver. This is wild. As a true X receiver. His catch radius and contested catch skills make him a plug-and-play number 1 option in the NFL. Projection, top 10 pick, potentially a top 5, depending on team needs. Now, we showed the first real opportunity for him to go if a team doesn't trade up, probably around the 6th spot. We've seen 6, 9, 12, 17, 20, 21, 22, 25, 27, and 29. Unfortunately, that means that there are 7 teams above us that we could go. Yeah, they're probably looking for a receiver. So Tet McMillan, does anybody disagree with him being the number 1 receiver in this draft?
I mean, he's no Jaden Higgins or anything. But... No, for real, no. T-Mac's that dude. We've seen the tape, right? We've seen the skills. We've seen the measurables. Yeah, I would say hands down, probably the best receiver.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. There's really no one else that has that size. That the big knock I've been hearing on lately is like he's not fast. It's like, well, he's 6'5", 212. What do you want him to do? Like he still runs like a 4, I guess some 4.5 or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I have no idea. I don't know what he runs. I'm sure. Chat, help us out here real quick. Google for us what any documented 40-yard dash that we may have for Tet McMillan. Usually you'll do it at some point in their college career. They'll run a 40 and they'll have that on record somewhere. Yeah. See about how fast he was. You know who I think of when I see him? I think of Mike Evans in Tampa.
Yeah.
Mike Evans isn't blazing fast, but
that's
man,
a good
that
point.
dude.
Like if McMillan's under 4.5, he's fine, probably.
Right. Really under 4.6 in my opinion. Like if you stay under 4.6, yeah, he's going to be able to do his thing, I think. And again, we've got Travis Hunter listed as a cornerback. He's our top prospect on the board, right? Here they're including him on the list. So much like with our boy Deion Walker, if you remove Travis Hunter from this list, we would have Tet McMillan as our top receiver as well. But let's see what it says about Travis Hunter. Here, Hunter's two-way stardom, 96 catches, 1,258 yards, 15 touchdowns as a receiver, 4 interceptions as a cornerback in 2024, makes him a unicorn. Now, the unicorn there, Jacob. While he could play either wide receiver or corner in the NFL, his offensive ceiling is tantalizing. Elite ball skills, quick twitch movement, and playmaking ability after the catch. His ranking assumes he leans towards wide receiver, though some teams might prioritize him at cornerback. His projection, top 5 pick, regardless of position. What do you boys think about that right up there? Do you feel like that's a pretty accurate depiction? And let's just take this time to ask ourselves, do we think he'll play wide receiver or corner in the National Football League?
I mean, I think that's kind of crazy that you could either or, you know what I mean? Like where do teams see him as an absolute need? Do they see that we need a receiver that can do what he does? Or do they see that we need a cornerback that can do what he does? I see Brian Ellis says 4 flat is what I'm seeing. Mr. Deadfish says Draft Buzz has his time at 4.5. Dave
That's
as well
McMillan,
says
right?
McMillan is a 4.5 as well. Yeah. I'm just saying it's kind of an interesting situation there where it's like, does Travis Hunter, when and where does he go and for what position? Like that is I don't know anyone other than, looking back on like Dion or Bo, you know what I mean? Where it's like, what position will he play? Like,
Well,
he's
even
that good.
Bo didn't play both sides of the ball, right? Bo was strictly a running back in the NFL, right?
I think that's correct.
You talking about Bo Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just a running back. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a defensive tackle trapped in a running back's body. That dude was so physical, man. If you guys have not got a chance to watch Bo Jackson play football, man, watch his highlight reel on loop for 24 hours and then go buy you an NES and play with him on Tecmo Bowl.
You can't lose. Like,
You wonder why we had such an awesome childhood. I'm just telling you.
I think
you remember that? Do you remember that Family Guy episode where they said when Peter picks Bo Jackson, they're like, "No, Peter," and he just keeps running around the thing, and like, you can't lose if you pick Bo Jackson. You can't. Like, it's just hilarious.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, Jacob, I think to your point with Travis Hunter, we're going to find out, where he's going to play based on who drafts him.
Right.
Like a team that, let's say they're real thin at corner and they could use a third or fourth depth chart receiver. Man, they might want to run after a guy like Travis Hunter.
What do you think about what Carly says?
Opposite way, it could be the opposite way. Well, I mean, that's great. I mean, if you're that confident, this is the NFL. It's the NFL. It's not college, and it's not about whether he's capable. I think to Carly's point, like she's saying, he's fully capable. I would agree, but when you're getting NFL money, you're in an NFL locker room with an NFL staff. That team, those coordinators, they're going to determine where you're going to play. He could be a special teamer in a corner his rookie year and never see the field as a receiver. I fully believe that that's possible. It could go the other way around. He could play nothing but wide out and, gunner on special teams or something and never play corner. I don't know. I'm just saying that I think whoever drafts him, once we know who drafts him, that's going to give us a good look at, is he going to play both sides of the ball with any regularity? That's just my opinion, though. I'm nobody. I'm just a fan.
Yeah, as Carly says, he is going to play both sides of the ball. He wants to play both sides of the ball, but I don't know if the team that's going to draft him is going to allow him to play both sides of the ball. Dion tried to really, really harness it, Coach Prime out at Colorado, and he said it was just constantly bothering him about wanting to be on the field. So, me personally, I would love to see him do it because that's a throwback move. I think that's awesome. But I'm kind of with you, Tim. I would still be surprised if a team lets him truly play every snap on both sides of the ball. They may let him go out there occasionally, right? But I don't think it's going to be something where he's going to play every snap.
Especially rookie year, second year. I could see as he comes into his own as a pro and, maybe second, third year, they're like, oh, man, jump out there in the slot, let's go. And, he's all of a sudden playing both sides of the ball. I mean, we saw that with Deion Sanders. Jacob brought up Deion Sanders. Deion was a corner most of the time, and then kind of middle stages of his career, towards the end of his career, was like, oh man, we can run this guy as a wideout. Let's do it. You
remember Deion with the classic is both. Which side are you gonna eat? Both. Wasn't it the stuffed crust pizza or whatever?
Yeah.
Which one are you gonna eat first? He goes, both.
Which, by the way, boys, let me just say, being the obese person I am, stuffed crust, Pizza Hut no longer has the monopoly on it. All right.
I heard Domino's got in the game.
Bro, Domino's might be my fave.
Heard it from a fan right here.
That's right. You heard it from a big guy right here. Little Caesars the other day. Tried it. Pretty solid. Breaking news. Clayton's stuffed crust pizza power ranking is number 1 with an upset. Huge upset. Domino's. Number 2, Pizza Hut. Number 3, Little Caesars. They tried. And I applaud the effort. But
thick.
I am thick now. You're right. You're right. And getting thicker. Chris in the chat says they'll announce when they pick him as a cornerback or a wide receiver. That's a great point. They will. Whoever drafts him, they'll probably say, kind of what the plan is. Because when they call that in, they typically – they'll give a little bit of information in that regard. So I'm excited to see where he plays. Again, I would love to see a throwback there. That would be awesome, but we'll see. Anyway, that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll pick up this wide receiver talk in hour 2. We appreciate y'all. All right, welcome into
on the pod.
Welcome into hour 2. Let's continue with the wide receiver rankings here according to Grok. the robot. Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State is number 3. Why he's here? Egbuka's polish as a route runner and reliability, 81 catches, 1,011 yards, 10 touchdowns in 2024, make him a safe bet to be a high-end NFL starter at 6'1", 205. He's not the biggest, but his football IQ and fluidity shine in the slot or as a number 2 receiver. His bounce back from an injury-plagued 2023 season solidifies his stock projection mid to late round 1. So far, we had Tet McMillan at 1. We did not have Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. Our number 2 wide receiver on our list is Emeka Egbuka. So it lines up perfectly with Grog. This damn robot, boys, they're catching up, let me tell you. Pretty cool. What do y'all think about Egbuka? Would y'all be okay with the Packers taking him? He's 28 on our board currently.
I don't know, man. First of all,
I hear hesitation in Jacob's voice. Let's hear it,
man. I feel like that he's
You just hate Ohio State. Just say it.
I literally was going to say I don't like Ohio State because of the fact that it's Ohio State. So anybody that's on the roster is quote unquote the best. Like they're the highest touted, blah, blah, blah. I just don't think I've seen enough from him to actually say that he's like deserving of a first round pick. I just and by the way, when you said Egbuka's polish, I thought Egbuka's Polish, and I'm like, no, he's not.
It's not Polish.
Egbuka. What are you talking about? Anyway, he's a very physical receiver, like Jake is saying right here, and he can block. And so maybe that is one thing I'm not looking into as much as I should, because I exactly. Thank you, Emilio. I'm not star-studded enough to justify a pick with him that early, if that makes sense.
I got you.
10 tutters, 12.5 yards of reception, 1,011 yards, 81 catches on 100 targets. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to say he's not a first rounder.
Here's the guy.
Yeah, maybe he's not like, early first rounder, but I don't know. Looking at the numbers, looks like a first rounder to me. I don't know.
He said he might not be an early first rounder, but
he was the best guy around.
All right,
heard it
moving
from
on
a
to
fan right here.
Number 4, Luther Burden out of Missouri. Burden, 5'11", 208, is a dynamic 5-tool athlete with explosive after-the-catch ability. His 2024 stats, 77 catches, 1,150 yards, 9 touchdowns, highlight his versatility across the formation. While not a burner, his elusiveness and multi-sport background, this is awesome, make him a weapon, likely best in the slot or on gadget plays. Projection.
Everything Jacob just said about Egbuka.
It's right there with Burden.
That's what I feel about Burden.
Yep. It says projection late round 1 to early round 2 or a top 30 or a top 40 pick. We have Luther Burden immediately behind Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka, we got at 28.6. We've got Luther Burden at 28.8. So they are sitting in the 28 and the 29 spot on our board. I kind of feel like everything we just said about Egbuka, we're going to say about Burden here. Do you guys got anything you want to add?
I mean, his numbers are lower. I mean, guy had 6 tutters, 676 yards.
It's a good point.
I mean, he's 5'11". He's a little guy, but he is out of Mizzou. Missouri's been a pipeline these last couple of years for talent in the draft. So I'd hate to overlook him, but I just feel like a lot of the things Jacob was saying about Egbuka is kind of my thoughts on Burden. I don't know.
There you go. Jacob?
Yeah. I feel the same. Luther Burden has not really popped up on my radar, and it's not because I don't think it's not because he's talented or whatever, but I just don't think he fits what we're trying to do at our current status. Same thing with Matthew Golden, to be honest. The guy is running at 4.29. I read or I listened to a podcast today where they were like, the guy doesn't look like he plays as if he's a 4.29. He plays and looks like he's a 4.5 guy. I don't understand the type of love, I guess, for both of those players. I definitely don't want those two in the first round. As soon as we pick them in the first round, we'll be like, oh, of course I always wanted them. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Matthew Golden to me seems very interesting. He's lower on our board. He's in the 38 spot, but he's very versatile, right? Like he can play outside. He can play in the slot. He's a little more versatile than the other guys. It is worth mentioning that he is the only wide receiver of these top 5 or top 4 that we've mentioned that the Packers have actually met with. So that's really, really interesting to me. Now, listen, that could be maybe Goody's board looks similar to ours, and he knows these other receivers will take them if they're available at 23. Let's see if Matthew Golden's kind of worthy of that, right? And we'll, like I said, we'll get a little more information if they do choose to visit him with the top 30 visit. But here's a write-up on Matthew Golden out of Texas. Golden's stock soared after a standout NFL combine, clocking a 4.29 40-yard dash at 5'11", 191 pounds. He pairs deep speed with strong hands and body control. 44 catches, 684 yards, 8 touchdowns in 2024. He's a vertical threat who excels in contested situations, though he needs to refine his consistency. Projection late round 1 to mid round 2 or a top 50 pick. This is spot on with our draft board. It's literally like I put our draft board information in and said, hey, put this in words. It's pretty wild how it's ranked out here. Honorable mentions. Jaden Higgins.
There's the guy.
Big-bodied, 6'4", 217 pounds with a massive, Tim. Say it again, Tim. Massive.
You heard it from a fan right here.
Ideal for outside roles. Projected late 2nd round, early 3rd round.
What?
Oh, you mean like, what do we got? Pick 50, 52, 57?
That ought to do it.
What are we
That ought to
picking?
do it.
Yeah.
And we've got him listed at pick 53, or I'm sorry, in the 53 spot on our draft board. And the Packers did meet with Jaden Higgins.
He was the best guy around.
Kind of feels like they're eyeing up a receiver, another 2nd-round receiver. Again, plenty of precedent there for the Packers in the past. They're looking at Matthew Golden, Jaden Higgins. Hey, if these guys are available at the 2nd-round pick, that's what it feels like. Alec Onyemanor out of Stanford. Athletic, 6'2", 210-pound receiver with highlight reel plays, but needs polished mid to late 2nd-round potential. Trey Harris, Ole Miss, one of my guys right here. Contested catch specialist, 6'2", 205 pounds with alpha traits.
Let's go.
Separation concerns linger round 2 to 3 range. Jalen Noel, Iowa State, explosive slot option, 5'10", 194 pounds, 4.39 40 with a 41.5-inch vertical. Crazy. Early to mid 3rd round. And then next is Tez Johnson, undersized, 5'10", 156 pounds. Somebody give that dude a cheeseburger. But electric slot weapon with speed and elusiveness, round 3 to 4 range. This class lacks the top-end star power of 2024, e.g., Marvin Harrison Jr., but its depth with high-end number 2 receivers and versatile playmakers rankings could shift with pro days and team preferences, especially for Hunter's positional outcome. Hey, tip your damn cap to Grob, boys. That's a pretty good write-up right there.
That is pretty good.
Yeah. Can you scroll back up on those honorable mentions there?
Yeah, let's see. Who was at the top of the list? Help me out here, Tim. You ever heard of
James
this guy
Higgins
right
up there? Yeah. And you know what's funny is other than maybe Tez Johnson, I'd probably take a Jalen Royals or a Pat Bryant or somebody, or Jack Besh or somebody, and put them in that category. But Jalen Noel, man, if you want me to come off of the the 6-foot requirement that I have for my receivers this year, Jalen Noel is probably the dude that I like the most. Sub 6-foot guy. Thought he played pretty well. But yeah, man, these honorable mentions, Alec Manor, is that how you say it? Ao Manor, Ao, hope you're a Packer Manor. Trey Harris, Higgins, Noel. Like I said, I know Jacob, you like Jalen Royals and Pat Bryant as well. I think they were on your short list. So
yes,
there's a lot of receiver talent, but I think Grok did pretty good here. Not bad for a stupid robot, right?
Right.
Pretty good job.
I did not expect this at all. And, sometimes with AI, you got to tweak, type it in again, change this word. I'm telling you, I asked a question and everything just first time. This is pretty impressive. Yep. Drew D in the chat said Tim's going to be watching some Iowa State football next year, baby.
I'm telling you, I watched enough tape this year. I might have to start paying attention during the season for sure. Iowa State and Missouri for sure.
Shout out to my buddy who watches the pod, who was our best dude. He was the best quarterback for our varsity team.
He was
His
the
father,
best guy
I was waiting
around.
on it, Tim.
his father, Joel Jensen, played, I believe, DN for Iowa State
Did you
Cyclones.
say
and
George
he was-
Jetson?
Joel Jensen.
Oh, Joel Jetson.
Yeah, he was a beast, bro. So, anyways, shout out to the
A
to the
dog.
Here's the guy.
Right there.
Iowa State.
I want to mention that not listed in this list of honorable mentions too is Jalen Royals, wide receiver out of Utah State. The Packers met with him. He's 74 on our board as well. So keep an eye on him.
What's he about 6'1", 6'2", something like that?
I don't know how big is he, Tim? Do you have any idea, Jalen Royals?
He's on my short list at 6 feet. I can look him up here. I think he's right on the nose, 6 feet. Let's see.
Tim, a damn
Jalen
pro.
Royals.
Cheat sheet, man.
Yeah,
love
6 feet 205 according to
Okay.
EFF, and he's in the Loverboy Goody DiCaprio range of 22 years old. So it'll work.
Daryl, 6 foot. There you go. Appreciate it, Daryl. There you go. All right. So there's your wide receiver talk, boys. We're at the 55-minute mark. We're going to go rapid fire real quick on these prospect visits. There won't be a morning show tomorrow. I got to get back on the grind tomorrow. Wyoming linebacker Connor Shea met with the Packers, Broncos, and some CFL teams at his pro day. So we've added him to our board. Many of these guys that I'm about to list off for you all, they're very, very low on our board. Like we're lacking information, but the Packers are meeting with some of these guys at some of the smaller schools. Another player, and again, shout out to Easton Butler.
Here's the guy.
At Easton _ Butler. He said Monmouth running back Sean Toe. Is that how you would say that?
Man, I don't know even how you got Sean out of that.
I don't know. It's Sone Toa is what I'd say.
Onetoa met with several teams at his pro day, those being the Giants, Packers, Seahawks, Jets, and Ravens. So got a couple of these late round running backs that the Packers are keeping an eye on.
Who?
Doesn't matter who it is, Drew. Look at this bicep right here, bro. Look at this.
All right, sign him up. Let's go.
Sign him up. give him $15,000 signing bonus, right, Jacob?
Let's go. Dude. Yeah, exactly.
Jacob, stop looking back here. I know what you're eyeing back here. I know how you operate. Knock it off, sir. So
Jacob's trying to figure out how to get triceps like that. That's what he's working on.
there you go. All right, another player that the Packers met with, according to Easton Butler, said offensive lineman Asa Pohl. Does that sound right?
Sure.
Has top 30 visits lined up with the following: Packers, Seahawks, Chiefs. So that's going to be a top 30 visit. It says this is the top 30 visit / pre-draft visit reported for Green Bay. So an offensive lineman.
Wow.
It doesn't even show what school he played for. Can we?
I don't know. He looks like he's lining up against Buckets Goldenberg there.
Yeah, I was just focused on the player. He looks like he plays for Washington State. Now that you pointed out, Tim, that dude's ass is right in the camera. Am I right?
Buckets Goldenberg.
That's why they call him Buckets. So, all right, let's move it along, you bunch of freaks. So next on the list here of Packers interested prospects, Jackson State defensive back Robert McDaniel met with 16 teams at the HBCU Bowl, with the Ravens, Packers, Saints, Commanders, and Cardinals sticking out per at Justin M _NFL. So there's another DB. You're seeing Goody's scouting staff. They're going through and hitting some of these small schools, right?
Yep.
And they're just, these are probably going to be potential undrafted free agents, I would imagine, that the Packers might look to swoop up because they might have.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the HBCUs, man, there's a lot of talent coming out of there, and they are smaller schools, and they tend to, like you said, they end up going undrafted. So I think it would be cool if you see a couple of those guys actually get drafted in the later rounds. And credit to our front office and Goody and the boys, like spreading that scouting department out wide and far.
Yeah, Jacob, you want to share with the class what was so funny, sir?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Next one. This one might catch you off guard, Tim. We got a punter. Jack Colbreth met with some CFL teams at his pro day, along with 5 NFL teams: Packers, Jaguars, Cardinals, Broncos, Saints. Hey, you never know, man. Goody might grab one of these guys, throw him on the practice squad, and in a couple of years, there's your punter of the future, right?
Yeah.
That could be.
We got a kicker sitting on the practice squad, right? Might as well have a punter too.
I would just rather Daniel Whelan be our punter for the next 35 years. You know what I mean? I want him out there on a walker punt.
Yep.
That's how good he is. So that's how I feel about it.
Agree.
All right, there you go. We were going to get to Jacob Westendorf's mock draft, but we ran out of time because we've got a mock draft to do ourselves here, gents. Are y'all ready to fire this thing up?
Ready to go.
All right, and shout out to King Tron. This was his request, and Boz drove it home. He was and still is. And Boz, we appreciate you supporting the stream as well, buddy, and making this happen. So we got a 7-round mock set up per Tron's request. With all the super chats tonight, he asked us to go cornerback first. So that's what we're going to do. Y'all ready to roll?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Let's do it. And with the 23rd pick, here are the top options for the Green Bay Packers. We're going to just close out all those trades. We got edge defender Shamar Stewart, offensive tackle Kelvin Banks out of Texas. We got Michael Williams, edge out of Georgia. Mike Green, edge out of Marshall. Cornerback Jahdae Barron out of
There's
Texas.
your pick.
Malachi Starks at safety. Matthew Golden sitting there. Safety Nick Emenware had a 10 RAS, if I understood correctly. Wide receiver Luther Burden's available. Running back O'Marion Hampton. Gray Zabel sitting there in the 33 spot. Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle out of Oregon. But we made a promise to Tron we were going to go corner. So here are the top corners available. Let me move my board
today. Gotta go.
Like, we don't even have to think about this, right?
Yeah. I mean, so Will Johnson's our top corner, right? Jahdae Barron is our second best corner in the 17th spot. He's versatile. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. The Packers have already met with him once and out of Texas. He also scored a 9+ RAS. This checks all the freaking boxes, boys. So
run that COD.
All right. Nobody's opposed. Jahdae Barron is the pick, and we got an A+. Congratulations, gents. You aced the test. So there you go, King Tron. There is your corner that you requested there with the first pick. All right, so now let me just write this down as a note. All right, next pick. Look at Maxwell Harrison sitting there now. Of course he is, right at 54. Great value. Here are the top available. Right now, overall, Maxwell Harrison, cornerback out of Kentucky. Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame. You know what? I could be wrong here, Jim. I think that we met with both of those players, too. Let me double-check here. Let me sort by corner. I'm almost positive we met with both of those corners. That's wild to think about. We met with Benjamin Morrison. I thought we met with Kentucky's Maxwell Harrison. We did not meet with Maxwell Harrison to the best of my knowledge, but we did meet with Benjamin Morrison. So just keep that in mind. Not that we would take them now since we already went corner. I'm just thinking.
Does that make you kind of regret that we went corner? I mean, obviously we had to, but like Maxwell Harrison and Benjamin Morrison is there right away.
It's a great exercise, right? Because like the grade that we've got on Maxwell Harrison, we're lower on him than most people are because of the PFF grade. We have him at 75.1. That doesn't mean he's in the 75 spot, but that's how low his grade is. But Benjamin Morrison we have with a 63.9. So to me, both would kind of seem like a reach. I could be wrong. Let me just double check here. 63.9 is his grade. We were to slide down to the 63.9 spot. Benjamin Morrison's in the 70 spot for us. So this would be a reach right here for both of those players, according to our board. Again, some people are seeing Maxwell Harrison as possibly a first-round pick. But what positions do we want to see here, boys? I see Tyleik Williams.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, are we going to do the smart thing and just draft Tyleik Williams right here?
I'd go Marcus Bowe, man. That's what I'd do.
Where's Bowe on our board? Because that's a good call, too.
Yeah, so Marcus Bowe, is he interior offensive lineman?
Oh, they don't have him. That's weird.
Yeah, there he is.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm lower on Bowe than most people are. Okay, let me do a quick search here. I don't want to tell you wrong. We've got Bowe in the 63 spot, so it's a little bit of a reach, but within striking distance here. But there's probably other offensive linemen that we feel better about. Like if we were to go Wyatt Malum on our board. Yeah, Wyatt Malum is way higher on our board. Well, no, he ain't. He's in the – yeah, he is. Yeah, he's in the 56 spot. So that's kind of the sweet spot right now. But if we go back to all, look at this. Let's see. Tyleik Williams. Where do we have Tyleik at? Tyleik Williams we have in the 39 spot. Okay? That's hands down our best prospect so far. There's Xavier Watts. Alfred Collins. Are we higher on Alfred Collins? I think we – no, Alfred Collins is below Tyleik Williams. So Tyleik Williams is is the best prospect available according to our board right here. But
Can
listen,
anybody in the chat? I believe that he ran like a crazy 42 for how big he is. I think it was like a 4.7 or like a 4.8. If anybody in the chat can confirm that, that'd be great.
we don't have a completed RAS, or at least I don't have one in the system yet. So I'm not sure exactly how much he did. But yeah, what do you think, Tim? Do you think we need to go Tyleik Williams here? Or do you think there's another position we want to see in that? Because wide receiver is always talking point too, right? Like,
yeah, I mean wideout, but I feel like there'll still be value at wideout. At the 87 pick.
I agree.
He ran a 4.68, bro.
Yeah, Tyleik Williams is the pick here.
It's suggested here too, so that's pretty wild. We're going to go defensive tackle Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State with the 54th pick. Look at 2 A pluses, boys. You kidding me?
There's some guys.
All right, so there you go. All right, now the next pick. Dogs are going to go crazy. I think Mandy just got home. 87th pick. Look who's top on the board, boys. We got Deion Walker. Actually, those are defensive.
Yeah, you got to go back.
Yeah. Caleb Johnson, running back.
Oh, snap. There's our guy,
Noel.
Jacob. Harold Fannin Jr.
No. I'm looking at Jalen Noel.
Oh, come on.
Everything went all to hell just now. You guys got so excited over two different players.
I thought you were excited about Harold Fannin Jr., man, the best tight end in the draft. Come on. All right.
If I mean, it's a difference between one pick. I mean, I'd love Noel though. I really would.
What else is available for a wide receiver right now besides Noel?
Coach says Jalen's a beast, or Caleb Johnson's a beast.
Iowa. Really, we're going to take a running back third round?
I don't think we will. No.
Have you seen our running back room recently?
Yeah, I don't think I would go. I would even look at running back right now. Like, I think
Caleb
Caleb Johnson's
round at least, right?
Right. So think about what we need. We got our corner, right? And this is assuming, let's say Jai isn't on the roster, right? We got our D tackle. What's another need? We're looking at wide receiver, right? That's the only other starter need that we have. The rest is all backup needs, in my opinion. So,
unless you want to try edge, look at edge. Jordan Birch would be a good one. I mean,
we could look at edge. I personally don't like it outside of the first round unless like a superstar falls to us. Braden Swenson's been popular out of LSU. There's Jordan Birch, Kyle Kennard. For me, I think it's receiver, boys.
Yeah. All right. Let's look at wide receivers.
Yeah. So we got Jalen Noel, Restrepo, Savion Williams. This is ugly, isn't it?
Matt Bryant, Ricky White, Jimmy Horn.
Are we planning on taking two receivers?
I think just one is all we got a spot for, right? Because if we take two, then that means both Bo Melton and Malik Heath are gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Then I say we go Restrepo or Noel here.
Let's go Noel.
I'm trying to see where we got Jalen Noel at. Trey Harris is already gone. Give me just a second. I just want to double check here.
Aiden Higgins is already gone.
Right. We got Jalen Noel in the 109 spot, and we're picking him 87th. That's just
where's Restrepo on our board?
Restrepo. Let's see here. Restrepo. We got Restrepo on the 61 spot.
Well, there's a guy that you could take at 87 and feel pretty good about it.
Let me double check Savion. Remember 61, boys.
Savion has that drop rate that I don't like.
Yeah, we got him 95th. Restrepo would be the receiver here, but he's small, right? Am I thinking
he's like 5'10" top.
So he would, if you're going to
he's like an inch shorter than Jalen Noel. I mean, God,
shut up, Tim.
It is funny. Like, seriously, I'm not making fun of you, Jacob. I know Tim isn't either. Like, isn't it wild how we macro everything down like that? You know what I mean? Like, well, this guy's faster by 0.2 of a second or whatever it is. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, so should we read it for the pod or no? We should not. No, this is a family problem. Jacob said, yeah. Me and Tim said, no, we're not doing it. That's all you need to know. So if you draft Restrepo here, then you're probably planning on playing our boy Jaden Reed out at Z, right? Him at Z, Romeo Dobbs at X, Restrepo and Wicks kind of battling for the slot spot, right? That's probably what you're looking at. I personally don't like the Restrepo pick here, but he's definitely the best receiver. So we may not be going receiver.
Let's go Harold Fannin Jr. How about that?
Hey,
now you want to talk about Harold Fannin Jr.
All right, Tim. All right.
You could flex Harold Fannin Jr. out. Now, Fannin Jr. is in the 59 spot. He's only 2 spots ahead of Restrepo on our board. So that's interesting, right? What's another need we've got, boys? Isn't it wild? We don't even hardly think about offensive line now after the Aaron Banks signing. Isn't it kind of just a sigh of like, okay, we got a little breathing room. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I almost feel like if we're going to look O-line, we should be looking at tackles.
Right.
Not interior.
So there's Emory Jones, Trapillo. We got Jalen
like
Rivers, Chase Lunt. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's stick with the all board here and say what's the best player available out of this cluster of players here.
Let's go Fannin, bro. Let's go.
So you want to go tight end with the 3rd round pick? Is that right?
I do. I think I do.
I think I do. So the board says we should go Restrepo. Jacob's saying Fannin. Tim, how do you feel about this, man? And keep in mind, it's just 2 spots. They're in the same tier. You know what I mean?
Want to know how I really feel? Do you really want to know how I really feel?
Yeah, how do you feel?
Deion Walker.
That's not bad. It's not a bad pick.
Let's see where Deion's low on our board, so we got to, it is what it is.
Look at, hey, all of a sudden, freaking Tim, did you just pay the guys in the chat?
No.
That's exactly what happened.
No, I don't have enough money to do that. Come on now.
Badger Trio with the super chat here. He says wide receiver high pick with Dobbs, Watson, both 1 year. Appreciate the super chat there, Trio. You the man. What are we thinking here, boys?
I mean, if we don't go receiver, my vote is Deion Walker.
Deion Walker. So we're going to double dip at D tackle. We did lose Slayton, right? Let's do this real quick. Let's take a quick gander here real quick at the defensive depth chart. Defensive tackle, Kenny, Devontae White, Kobe Wooden, Carl Brooks. So there's 4. Let's say you keep 5. There's room. There's room there. And if you move on from Kenny next year, Deion Walker and Tyler. Well, we already got Tyleek Williams too, right? So we'd have to carry 6 if we took Deion Walker, which I don't think that's unreasonable. That's what we want to do. It's what we want to do. I think it's between Fannin, Restrepo, and Deion Walker. That's who it comes down to. So let's just go around the horn with it. Jacob, what would your pick be? Restrepo, Fannin, or Walker? Be honest. Don't try to fit in. All right.
I'd probably go Walker. Yeah, I'd want to solidify that D line.
All right. The majority of the chat saying Walker. Tim, you're on board with Walker, right?
Yes.
All right, we're going to double dip at 3 tech. There you go. And we're rolling with the receiver.
Let's go B+.
Not bad, right? So we got 2 A pluses and a B plus. If you guys can't see that,
looking like my high school transcript. There we go.
Really?
Here we are now.
Yeah, the rest were Fs.
I was gonna say.
You know what mine were? C's across the board. I didn't do anything, bro. I'm just coasting through. Listen, I know y'all are tired of me. I'll be out of here in no time. Let's do the right thing. Keep the D's off the report card, and I'll be out of your hair in a couple of years.
Mine was just a question mark. It was like, we don't know. He's not here.
There you go. All right, so best available safety, Kevin Winston Jr. out of Penn State. Tackle, Ozzie Trapillo. Cornerback, Denzel Burke. Running back, Bashul Tootin. Quarterback, Will Howard. Cornerback, Dorian Strong. Tight end, Terrence Ferguson. Wide receiver, Torrey Horton. What are we thinking here, boys? What are we looking at? There's Chris Paul Jr.
Can you scroll up a little bit more?
Mrs. Green, Tim's only A in school was for lunch.
Hey, and recess, okay? Lunch and recess, I got straight A's.
Listen, Tim,
Michael Scott's favorite class was recess.
There you go. What'd you want to see, Jacob?
I think that I'm on board with Ozzie Trapillo right here.
Really? Okay, let me take a look. Tim, what about you, man? I'm going to take a look at Trapillo on the board here.
Don't shoot me, but can we look at receiver?
No, absolutely, man. You kidding me?
Yo, if we're going receiver, we got to go Torrey Horton.
I was going to say Horton or Pat Bryant, but Pat Bryant's probably a reach.
Trapillo is 89 on our board.
Ooh.
Where's Torrey Horton on our board?
Torrey Horton is 117.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I think Torrey Horton. That's my vote.
Torrey Horton, George.
I do like Torrey Horton as well. 6'3", big body, played predominantly on the outside. Smaller school, but guy can ball. Can really ball.
I was going to say my pick would be Trapillo hands down, but I'm outvoted here, boys. So we're going to go.
Go to the
Torrey.
chat. What's the chat say?
All right, let's see if
never
the chat
mind.
can back me up. Torrey Horton would be nice here. Drew D, I like Horton. Clint, I like Horton. It's done, boys. It's Horton. We're going to go wide receiver Torrey Horton out of Colorado State with the 124th pick. A+. Aced it, boys.
Yeesh.
Job. As if that means anything, right? All right, here we go. Get your trade out of here, bro. Picks are way too valuable.
Ooh, Ashton Guilty, whatever the hell his name is.
Galat?
Galat?
I don't know how to say. I've been saying Galat, but you guys know me, man.
I like it, Galat.
Speak English on a third grade level here. Galat is, oh my God, 62nd on our big board.
Put it on the board.
Let's just run that card up there. Another A+ for you.
Damn, look at that.
Yeah, we're crushing this draft, no doubt. All right, so we got an edge, we got a receiver, we got 2-3 techs.
Jack Kaiser.
What's crazy is we talked about double dipping at 3 tech this morning, and here we are. We did it, and we didn't even talk about it tonight. Yeah, remember we said we were going to do that. It worked perfect.
Yeah.
So really like it. You like Jack Kaiser here, Jacob? Is that what you're saying?
I love Jack Kaiser, that Irish son of a bee.
Hey, let me tell you guys something. I finally got around. I refused to watch this stuff in season, but I finally got around to watching Here Come the Irish on Peacock. If you guys have not seen that, they do a good little portion of it on Jack Kaiser working on the farm and everything. I was sitting back going, I try not to pound the table for my Irish to go to the Packers, but I would love to see Jack Kaiser in Green Bay. That would be awesome,
dude.
Jack Kaiser on our board, 103.
Run the cod.
Run the cod. Here we go. Bang. A+.
Holy crap! Even Atham likes it.
Wow.
AFAM doesn't like it.
AFAM know we're drafting for the Packers, not the Chiefs, right?
Damn it, Tim. We were all getting along just fine. We had to go there. All right, so we have taken cornerback, D-tackle, wide receiver, edge, linebacker. So
O-line.
We got to get O-line. We got to, right? So let's just look at the tackles real quick. John Williams out of Cincinnati. You got Gerard Christian Lycahan, Miles Hinton, Marquise Cox. We don't need another Cox. Too many Cox on this team, boys. Jared Penny, Dalton Cooper. What are you shaking your head about, Tim?
You can't make it that easy for us, Clayton.
Can you look at interior? Yeah, here we go.
Connor Colby.
Jonah. Oh, that's way too early, though.
Let me see where Colby's at. Colby. Connor. We got him in a 218 spot. He's booty cheeks.
I'd love to come back and get Jonah somewhere if we could.
Ellinger's low. Let's see where Jonah Monheim is. Jonah Monheim, 126.
Take him now.
Let's
do
go.
it now.
Are you kidding me?
Let me check Tyler Cooper real quick.
No.
He said no. All right. There you go. We're going to go Jonah Monheim. He's played a little center, right, Jacob?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So got a little
And
versatility.
both guards, right?
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Jonah
Now
Monheim.
we go tight end. We got any tight ends on the board?
Ooh, look at Marcus Weir, though.
Oh,
Oronde Gadsden, let's
Yay!
go. Book it. Mike
Let's
Tirico
go.
approved. Syracuse, let's go.
With the 250th pick in the 2025 draft, live in Green Bay, Wisconsin, we are taking tight end out of Syracuse, Oronde Gadsden II, number 100 on the PTA big board. A+.
Let's go, dude. That's
Boys, I really like that.
This is
draft.
the best draft we've done so far.
I think it really is.
It's not just the cold medicine talking, I promise.
Let's go. My picks. And let's hit save. I think that's how we did it last time. That showed all the picks. There we go.
Wow.
Let's see. Let me grab that screen grab. That's
Dude,
actually.
I love that draft. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, I'm
draft.
gonna. I think I'm gonna
screenshot
tweet
that
this.
before we lose it.
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet this one out and turn off the notifications. But I think seriously,
I got your back in the notifications, Clay.
Hey, I appreciate. Hey, I know you do, Tim. Lord have mercy today. I couldn't even see what was being said until I found out you were out there cooking people like a midsummer barbecue. But so let's see here. All right, we got it saved. Let me throw it up on screen. Bang, there it is. So yeah, that draft, it really is good, Clint. I agree, man. So with the 23rd pick, we went cornerback Jahdae Barron, 54, we went Tyleek Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. 87, we came back to defensive tackle Deion Walker out of Kentucky. 124, we went wide receiver Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. 159, Ashton Gallott, edge out of Louisville. 198, Jack Kaiser, the farm boy out of Notre Dame. 237, Jonah Monheim, interior offensive lineman from USC. With the 250th pick, we went Arondé Gadsden the second, tied in out of Syracuse. That's a solid draft. Really, really like that draft. So there you go. Just to celebrate with, right, Tim? So
Booty approved.
hey, that was fun. I'm glad Tron did that earlier, man. We didn't have plans to do a mock draft. That was a lot of fun. It's like the later you get in the draft season too, you do the mock draft with a little bit different perspective. And you come, I don't know, man. I've learned more out of the mock drafts than I have studying the board because you're having to constantly see where these guys are available and who makes sense where. And now we're using not just a PFF mock draft simulator. We're using a consensus big board. Maybe we'll go back. I want to go back to the draft buzz, but it's just so unrealistic.
It's bad. It's really bad.
So we'll stick with these two, and every week we'll kind of reshuffle the mocks and keep it fresh for sure. So,
which is really weird because DraftBuzz has great information on the individual players and stuff that even PFF doesn't have. But when you go to their mock simulation, it's just booty cheeks. It's straight booty cheeks.
It really is, man. Definitely. All right. Anything else, gents? I think we're pretty good here, man. This was fun. If y'all would hit that like button, we got a bunch of people in here. We greatly appreciate it. Feel free to sub to the channel, share with your friends. If you don't have friends, you got friends right here. Okay, just don't share it with us because we're tired of each other anyway. So, anything else, gents?
No, that was great. Just make sure you tag me in that mock draft. I don't want to lose that one.
I got you, man. Yeah, we got it saved in here too. It's going to be right underneath the Ticket King ad there. So. Yeah, I agree, Clint. We filled some needs with that draft for sure, man. That was fun. All right. Quick shout out to all the super chats. King Tron just lighting it up tonight. Multiple super chats to make this mock draft possible. Boz, send it over the top. Thank you so much, Boz. You're always too kind. King Tron with a tendo at the door there with another deuce. And then the aggressor UFO just with a little $1.99 dono. Appreciate it, man. Badger Trio, thank you for the super chat, buddy. You guys are awesome. So, Fred McFarley, thanks, Clayton. Thanks, Clayin, Tim, and Prison Mike, and Prison Mike's cat. There you go. So.
He was the best cat around.
What litter box? United Bates, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Any news breaks, we'll cover that. And we'll have more draft talk. If there's any other top 30 visits that maybe get scheduled, we're coming down to the wire. It just hit me today. Like,
it's getting there.
We're closing in on 1 month from the draft, which is just wild to think about.
So, shoot. I don't know why. Thanks, Clint, but
thanks, Clint.
Clint just put a space in there with a super chat. So I ain't said, here's $5, Clayton. Go buy another one of those shirts. That's what he said. So
yeah.
All right. You guys are too kind. Thank y'all so much. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
And we go. Bye, guys.